Today we're talking about year-end maintenance, and I'm sure that you each have your own maintenance routine. These are just a few things that Wide Orbit recommends that you put eyes on, especially at the end of the year, and keep an awareness of. The very first and most important is make sure that your central server is creating its backups as planned. Now, you can screenshot this little path here, or just go explore to it in your network and mark that. But just give a quick check to make sure that your PG backup it has a .backup file in it, and check the date to make sure that it's running. It should be running, I think, daily. So give that a quick look. That is probably the biggest and most important thing. And then also, as we look through the whole list, and there's a longer list in your user manual, but it says things like, clean the dust filters of your machines and some of those maintenance-y things that I'm sure that you're doing pretty regularly. But this is just a shout out for that year end of check your database backup. That's the first thing we just talked about. Then check your backups. We do recommend that you have external backups. One funny thing I encountered as an operator was I had a backup software tool set that was super handy, super fast, thought it was great. And when I went to restore from it, it didn't hold any of the directory structure. So give your backup a good look over, make sure that it's backing up as often as you think it is and that it's keeping your subdirectory structure. This is a great time of year to go to all of your Adobe Audition machines and check the temp folders. Make sure there aren't a bunch of files just cluttering up your hard drive space there. Also check your radio servers for those temp record folders and purge any old temp files in there as well. Update your default playlists. I'll do a screenshot really quick to show you how to do that if you're not familiar. It is important to not do that when you're playing Christmas music or special holiday music, because then if you fire off your default playlist in July, it will be Christmas in July. And that's fine if you do it on purpose, but probably not by accident. So we'll go through the default playlist steps really quick. Check your UPS batteries. If they are more than 3 years old, give them a good check over and see if it's time to, get some new ones ordered. You don't need to find out that they aren't holding a charge the moment that you need them to have held a charge. Run disk defrag and check now. That is on, that doesn't apply to solid state hard drives. So spinning drives, you do need to run disk defrag and check unless you have scheduled tool sets that do some of that for you. And then we also recommend that every 3 years you replace the battery on the motherboard. And it talks about doing that with the power supply remaining on. And so that is quite the process. Of course, you're going to want to be very careful as you do that. And feel free to reach out to support if you need help doing that. But we want to make sure that that BIOS battery keeps everything so that you don't end up with a BIOS reset over a $2 little tiny battery on the motherboard. So those are kind of the steps for our year-end maintenance routine. I'm going to show you my playlist editor so I can just go through one more time how to create your new default playlist. So here I am in playlist editor. Go to a historical log. I've picked yesterday's just for the sake of such things. Again, you're going to want to do it on a day that doesn't have holiday liners or holiday music. You can take out your commercials if you want to, whatever, because it's a historic log, so you can edit it any way you want to. And you just right click on it and say, save as default playlist. And this is what will happen if for some reason your music and or traffic folks don't send you a log, then your default playlist will be what runs. And it will say in the on-air screen that you're running a default playlist. So, but it is important to do this every so often, especially if you're using a, if you're playing contemporary music or have pretty high rotations of your music in your libraries and your liners and things. Every few months, it's a good idea to just get yourself a new default playlist. So those are the things that we have to cover for today's presentation of our tips and tricks. Pretty quick, down and dirty, but also really important to be able to share just some important steps of check your backups, clean out your temp files, check your batteries, just some of those really important year-end steps that hopefully keep your phone from ringing while you're celebrating the holidays with your friends and family.